Hi guys, it's Aaron Wilson. I'm outside Ford Field. Behind me, of course, a statue of the great Barry Sanders, one of the best running backs to ever play this game, and the best Detroit Lions football player in their history. So the Texans have their third and final preseason game tomorrow afternoon at Ford Field. They already had the joint practice. We've recapped that. We've talked about that a lot. But I want to talk about the roster bubble that's about to pop for some guys. And then we'll see, are they practice squad? Are they claimed by another team? When the Texans, have assembled this kind of talented 90-man roster, not everybody can make it. And that's the difficult part of the job that DeMeco Ryans discussed. It was a great question from Randy McElvoy and a great answer from DeMeco Ryans about the difficulty of these decisions and the human aspect of it. It is never supposed to be easy to cut someone and tell them that their dream is either dead or deferred. So let's discuss the tough decisions that the Texans are facing in detail. So we're going to start at fullback. And you have British Brooks, who I believe is a superior special teams player. You saw the tackle he made against the Minnesota Vikings. He made this team a year ago before he hurt his knee, but he made it, and he made it as a combo running back, fullback, but he mostly made it because Frank Ross, the Texans special teams coordinator, who has a significant amount of say in these final roster spots, he wanted British Brooks to be on the team, so British Brooks made the 53-man roster. Unfortunately, he got hurt, but now that he's back gangbusters. He had a touchdown run, and he's also had a big tackle, so he's showing what he can do once again. And what they liked about him, coming from the University of North Carolina, is a really good undrafted free agent. British Brooks is tough, but Jakob Johnson has a significant background with Texans offense coordinator Nick Caley, and he can also play tight end. So it is just a matter of styles and preferences. What do you value more? The versatility and the lead blocking ability of Jakob Johnson, who's also a bigger player? Or do you want what I consider to be some special team skills, pun intended, from British Brooks? So that's one decision. That's not the only tough decision. They have to make a decision at tight end. They went to the trouble of trading for Harrison Bryant for the Philadelphia Eagles, former John Mackey Award winner at Florida Atlantic, former Cleveland Browns fourth-round draft pick, has nearly 100 career receptions and about 900 yards and 10 touchdowns. Yes, he wasn't obviously in the mix with the Eagles, so they don't trade him for John Mitchell III, who, by the way, had a good catch for the Eagles in his first game since the trade tonight. I would say Bryant would have an edge, just depending on whether you want to go with Irv Smith Jr. and his blocking skills. Remember the Miami Dolphins game? He played great against Miami. Then you also have Luke Lachey, a draft pick. And I got to say, Lachey's had a couple moments recently, but I don't think Lachey, I would put him ahead of Irv Smith or Harrison Bryant. Harrison Bryant's kind of a combo tight end, a little bit of a receiving aspect to him. And then you've got Cade Stover, and you've got obviously Dalton Schultz as the top two, and they're going to play a lot of 12 personnel. So they're going to use these tight ends. They're going to have them both in the game at the same time, the way they did against the Carolina Panthers. So that's kind of a hallmark of the Nick Caley offense. So tight end's important, but it's probably not important enough to have 4 tight ends. Looks like it's more 3 tight ends, and might that third tight end possibly be Jakob Johnson to save a roster spot? Okay, offensive line, I think we know where this is going. So we know the projected 5 starters in all likelihood. Arion Tertiary is looking like a real natural left tackle. So keep him at left tackle, not have him play right tackle. Cam Robinson's working his way back. He'll be on the team. I think he's an insurance policy. He's a very expensive insurance policy at $14.5 million. So you've got him. You've got left guard Laken Tomlinson. We know he was starting from the jump. Center Jake Andrews, he won the center job. Whether they announce that or they wait till the start of the season, I don't know their plan, but I'll tell you this, that's the guy. Right guard, Ed Ingram's looked pretty good to me. And then you've got right tackle, Titus Howard, and we saw the job that he did against Aiden Hutchinson. Very, very strong performance by Titus and some combo blocks with him and Ed Ingram. They did a good job in that joint practice. That is possibly enough to sort of, seal this thing as to how they want to go about the offensive line for the Houston Texans, the defending AFC South champions. Okay, so who are the backups? Here's one of them, Juice Scruggs, backup. Jarrett Patterson, another one, backup. I feel like you got to have those guys. Then you got Cam Robinson as a swing tackle, along with Blake Fisher. I don't think they'll IR Blake, but he does have a mild high ankle sprain. So perhaps he goes to the IR. We'll see how they handle that. There's some injuries that are going to affect this roster, not just these roster decisions, but the injuries. Okay, so looking at other spots with the offensive line, so kind of probably going to be outside looking in for some of these other guys, like Jalen Thomas, like Zach Thomas. So you have to make some changes with the offensive line, and we'll see how they choose to orchestrate this roster. We're looking at, really didn't see Ladarius Henderson really make a move for a roster spot. They didn't have a push for him. I know he was popular with fans, but we kind of know the offensive line. So they're going to have, some backups, and we'll see what they do in terms of how they think they should go forward. I don't know if they're about to activate Trent Brown. Doesn't look like he's that close to me, and we'll see how they handle that decision. Okay, so running back, regular running back, not fullback. We feel like Joe Mixon, unless he gets back here very soon, may begin this season on some sort of either the non-football injury or physical underperform list. I doubt that they put him on the injured reserve. Okay, so that's one way they can go. If they do that, you got Nick Chubb, you got Dameon Pierce, you got Dario Gomawale, you got Woody Marks, and I don't know if there's a spot for Jahar Jordan, so we'll see how they go about picking that running back position. Can't keep everybody. Okay, receiver, that's another one that's a hot debate. Yes, they traded John Mechie III. They're still weighing, and to me, he's done enough. Braxton Berrios, Justin Watson. Justin Watson's a bigger, pure receiver. He also can play some special teams. He signed a 2-year contract with some guaranteed money. They did a 1-year, $2 million deal for Braxton Berrios. So this is not about money, it's about role. Okay, so he's the punt returner. I don't think they were going to have Jalen Noel do the punts ahead of Berrios. Berrios is so steady, had also, good receiving. They could keep all the wide receivers. There's scenarios where they could do that. And Watson, to me, I would go with Berrios. I would go special teams instead of Watson if it comes to that. Okay, quarterback. So we got 2 quarterbacks. They're going to be on the active roster, and they are, of course, Pro Bowl quarterback C.J. Stroud and backup quarterback Davis Mills. After that, you have to make a decision. Who's going to be on practice squad or injured reserve? You could go injured reserve with Graham Mertz. You could also have him be the practice squad quarterback or Keaton Slovis. Slovis is a little more advanced. He's been playing football longer, and I thought he had a good preseason. I thought he definitely outplayed Mertz. Doesn't take a football expert to tell you that. All right, defensive line. Very deep group. Of course, the Will Andersons, the Daniil Hunters, the Derek Barnetts, and inside, Foley Fatukasi, Tim Settle Jr., Sheldon Rankins, Mario Edwards Jr. It's a good group. Now you need depth. So you got to make a decision. Is Denico Archer going to be healthy? We haven't even seen much of him at all in the preseason. Is he going to be ready with that knee injury for the first game? If he's not, then maybe that gives them a chance to not just have Dylan Horton, who I think should make the team, but also Solomon Byrd. And Solomon Byrd's one of those bubble guys. They'd love to keep him. He's had a sack in the preseason. He's had a very strong training camp. I'm impressed with Solomon Byrd, former USC Trojan. He's done a great job for them, and he's shown a real knack for how to rush the passer. I can tell you this, they like this guy. He's very developmental, but I think that he can get it done. He can get to the quarterback if he ever is called upon. Autry, an X factor, again, because of injuries. All right, let's go to linebacker. We know the top linebackers, and as I said the other day, Azeez Al-Shaair, the injury is minor, expected back for the Rams game. That's the good news. Christian Harris, more good news. Moving well, calf, no setbacks. He's really had a tackle against Detroit in the joint practice, had a diving pass deflection. He looks good. Okay, so obviously they want to establish him again. And it's going to be kind of I think a playtime sharing situation. You got Henry To'oTo'o, and you got EJ Speed. I think there's going to be more 3 linebacker alignments. That, with those guys, the top 4 linebackers, it makes you have a little bit less of a need for guys besides Jake Hansen, who is excellent in special teams. He makes his team every year on special teams. Ever since the Lovie Smith era, Jake Hansen making this team as a backup linebacker. We'll see if anything changes, but he's played so well. Jamal Hill's had some flashes, and he's so fast, 4.41 speed. And then Nick Niemann, solid, big solid guy. So it's probably going to come down to one of those three, and you got to pick. I got to think that it's kind of Hill and Neiman, kind of neck and neck, and you see how they go forward with that. All right, secondary, again complicated by injury. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, is he gonna be ready for the Rams game? He's just starting to do stuff on the side field. So will he be on a reserve list, or will they carry him into the regular season unhealthy and on the verge of coming back any week? I could see them doing that. If they do that, probably eliminates Rush East's chance for a roster spot. And then I expect them to keep MJ Stewart, of course, who's starting right now next to Kalen Bullock. And I also expect them to want to have the Green Goblin, Mills. So I think that they will have Jalen Mills as a part of this. So we'll see how they go forward. He knows the scheme. He's got the good playing experience. He has 8 career interceptions. He has a lot of tackles. He's a good football player. Okay. Cornerback. We know Derek Stingley Jr. We know Kamari Lassiter. Lights out, those 2 guys. Third corner, Jalen Smith, has had his moments in the preseason, including an interception. So now we're talking about special teams. I can tell you this. You can write it down. You can etch it in the statue behind me. Whatever you want to do. Tremont Smith is a Texan. He's one of the highest paid special teams guys in the NFL. And him and Frank Ross, they're tight. It's going to be Tremont Smith. Okay, so you get Tremont. Now you get D'Angelo Ross, who makes this team a lot of times for special teams. He's also sometimes been on practice squad. He's a valuable special teams guy. He's a shorter corner that can run very fast. There's a little more upside, actually there's a lot more upside as a corner with Damon Arnett Jr., but he's not one of your best special teams players. So is he going to be on the practice squad, or is he going to get some action elsewhere? Green Bay likes him. San Francisco likes him. I heard the Colts like him. So we'll see. There can be action with Arnett. Could there be a trade? Of course, Nick Caserio could pull off a trade. Always open for business. So that's a possibility. Special teams, again, going back to it. Long snapper. Are they going to keep Blake Ferguson or Austin Brinkman? I'm told that Brinkman's injury is considered short-term enough that he will be ready for the Rams game. So that's the hope. If that is the case, if that holds true, and that's what I've been told, that he's expected, there's good hope of him coming back for this game, then they'll cut Ferguson. If it's not, then maybe they have to keep Ferguson. Maybe they even have to keep Ferguson a little longer to make that decision. There will be some guys, of course, that go right to the beginning season, PUP. There'll be IR designates for return. There'll be a lot of decisions between now and Tuesday. But this game, a lot of it hinges on these final performances. What do you leave in their mind? What do you show not just the Texans, but the other 31 teams around the NFL to try to make your case for a roster spot? So when they're in Ford Field, mixing it up tomorrow afternoon, there will be jobs on the line. What there won't be is starters. I don't see any starters having to play in this game. Maybe they would play the safety. I don't know. I don't think MJ Stewart needs to show anything. I think that he's shown that he should be one of the safeties and playing in tandem with Kalen Bullock. Guys, you probably saw some of my coverage. You saw my interview with Nico Collins, my article at w.click2houston.com. Also my feature on Jaden Higgins. So please check those out. Please read. I'm trying to be as versatile as I can. I'm not just YouTube. I am also on television at KPRC2. And of course, writing digitally at www.click2houston.com, just like my old newspaper days. Very similar style in terms of coverage and how I approach the beat. So writing, digital, YouTube, social media. Want to be as versatile as I can and adapt to this modern age of media. And like I've said before, when I started doing this, there was no social media. There was barely any internet. And so in my time, I've seen all of that change, and so I had to change with it. So I'm excited, and I'm happy to talk football with you guys all season long. I believe we're going to be at 15,000 tonight. I think we were just shy of it, maybe 20 last time I checked. We were at like 14,980 or something like that. So yeah, we'll get to 15K. Next goal is 16, and we can't wait until we push all the way to 20,000. So guys, thank you for tuning into this channel. If you're first time watching, please watch, like, subscribe. It is absolutely free. So please help support what I'm doing. I appreciate you guys. And I like all the comments and the things you guys have to say. Lots of valid opinions, a lot of smart people. And no real news updates as far as like Jimmy Ward or anything like that. August 31st grand jury. That's the big date to watch for Jimmy Ward, but he will not be ready for the season either way. And the NFL personal conduct policy and their investigative group, they're going to be heard from in this as well. So that, still more chapters to be written, some of the final chapters probably on what's going to go on with Jimmy Ward. So guys, I'm outside Ford next to Comerica, where the Tigers defeated the Kansas City Royals tonight, and they had some fireworks. It took me a little longer to post my video because I was waiting for the fireworks to stop. We'll see what kind of fireworks the Texans have for the Lions at Ford Field. And of course, we'll have coverage all day, KPRC2, www.click2houston.com. Until next time, guys, look forward to our next conversation. Thank you.